Hi, I'm Mark from Peachtree Crafting, and today I'm going to show you how I made this Kiridashi marking knife from an old kitchen knife using only my Dremel 8220 cordless. Let's see how I did it. So it's time to open up my Dremel kit and get out all the accessories I'm going to be using. So as I said before, I'm using the Dremel 8220, which is cordless with the detailer's grip attached, just to give me that extra bit of control when I'm doing the grinding and shaping. I've got the speed click system attached, just to really help with the changing out of the accessories as and when I need it, and 2 fully charged batteries. Let's get on with it. Be using the metal cutting disc just to cut out the basic shape of the Kiridashi, a grinding accessory and some sanding accessories, and that's pretty much all I should need for at least the first part of this. Stop. Before we go any further, we need to think safety. Firstly, apron. I'm going to be cutting metal, so there's going to be sparks flying everywhere, so a big thick apron for me for this one. Respirator. Protect your lungs. Protect your eyes. And for some parts of this project, I'll be wearing gloves. Right, let's get to it. So here I've marked out the basic shape of the Kiridashi onto the old kitchen knife, which is old and blunt. So time to get it cut out. I didn't realise how easy it would be to cut through the metal using the disc. I thought they'd be a little bit more resistant. I mean, the knife wasn't all that thick, but even so, it cut through pretty easily and actually created quite a lot of sparks, which made it a little bit more interesting to do as well. I'm using the Dremel Multi vise to hold the knife in place while I cut it. It's a really handy tool. You can adjust it, move it around 360 degrees, adjust the angles. It's got a quick release, so it's really great when you're working on a little project like this, when you have to make little minor adjustments. You can even attach the Dremel into it using a special accessory. And now it's time just to refine the shape a little, just to get a really straight edge for the blade and make sure the handle is proportioned correctly for my hand really, and add some curves and then get them carved out. And again, using the metal grinding disc, it's so easy just to shape it exactly as I needed it. Plenty more shaping here and cutting off really the end and just creating a light show. I'm really impressed with the amount of sparks it makes. It makes for a good video in my opinion, and I think it looks great. And here I am just using a grinding accessory just to smooth off all the edges. I wanted the handle to have a little bit of texture just to make it easier to hold, so I'm just using the sanding drum just to provide a bit of texture into the handle. And this was an idea given to me by Gemini Bespoke Knives. You can find him on Instagram. He suggested this way of doing it to me, and it turned out really great. It makes the handle and the blade a little bit hot, so I ended up having to hold it with a cloth, but it provided some really great texture on the handle. It's at this point I want to thank Dremel for sending me the tools and accessories to make it possible to make these projects. The H220 is a fantastic tool. I'm not just saying that because they've given it me free of charge, I'm being genuinely honest. It's absolutely brilliant, and the battery seems to last forever. I've been using Dremels for years, and I've got a fair few versions of the corded Dremel, and I don't really see any difference in quality of work in using the cordless, and I like the way that it stops instantly when you turn it off. So although I'm making the Kiridashi out of an old knife, I wasn't sure what the heat treat would have been like. It was my intention to use a butane torch just to draw the temper, but unfortunately I run out of butane, so I'm using the Dremel Versatip here just to give it a little bit of colour. It's supposed to be straw coloured, and it did go straw coloured as I was doing it, but you can't really see it on this video, but we'll soon see how the edge holds up. So it's time to get it sharp. Firstly, I'm flattening the back edge of the blade. Only one side's going to have a profiled edge on it, and I'm using a rough, a fine and a very fine sharpening stone here. I'm trying to get a flat as edge as possible on the back side as much as I can. Moving on to the fine, and then after that it'll be the very fine. And for me this was the hardest part of the project. I didn't know what angle to make the blade. I didn't have any way of keeping it at the same angle. So I'm just trying my very hardest to keep it at the same angle on the rough stone. And then when I move on to the fine stone to do exactly the same. You can just see the edge profiling starting to take shape there. It's pretty much where I wanted it. And here we go on the fine stone. Eventually I move on to figure of 8. I'm just trying to find the right grip. When you've not done this before, it's quite hard. I use these stones for sharpening my plane blades, and I've got a gauge to help me find the right angle for that. This is all freehand, but I was pretty happy with the angle at the end of it. Fine stone, just to give it a really sharp, crisp edge. I spent a lot more time on this stone than you actually see, just to get it as sharp as I possibly could, and then just at the very end knock off the burr on the back edge. Every now and then I just run my thumb across the edge of the blade just to see how sharp it is, and once I'm happy with it, it's time to move on to polishing. So I have a polishing wheel, just apply some polishing compound on there and just polish it up to mirror finish. And I think you'll probably agree when you finally see it, it really is a mirror finish. And so onto some dramatic shot of the knife turning with some flames behind it. I'm really happy with how this turned out, especially for a first try. I found myself an old pen case, a little bit of shadow foam, and just cut out a little space for the knife to go in. I mean, this is only for me, it doesn't really need to go in that, but I thought that was a nice touch. You can see a mirror finish, and the texturing on the handle. And now it's time to see if it actually does the job it's supposed to do, which is marking. So firstly I'm just going to get my square and just draw a pencil line and put my knife right against the pencil line and move the square up against it, and then time to make a mark. Still trying to find the right angle, and once I've used it a couple of times I'll get that, change my grip, and it does its job, which is making a mark on the wood. So as you can see, it's all finished. It's textured on the grip just to give me a little bit of something to hold on to. A nice indentation for my finger there when I'm making the mark. This edge is, this side, sorry, is totally flat, like a beveled edge on that side with the blade. It does its job. It's really sharp. I need to keep my fingers away. It's really shiny. Don't really need it to be this shiny. But all in all, I enjoyed making this. For my first time making a knife of any sort, I'm really happy with this. I'm looking forward to using this in upcoming projects. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. It's great for us small content creators just to get a couple of comments, likes and subscriptions. So thank you all for watching, and see you again soon. Love you. Bye.